L'épisode de cette semaine est en anglais. This week's episode is in English. We had a chance to receive our two besties, the Nurse Daddies, Colton and Glenn. We talked with them about their life, how the content creation is taking a big part of their life right now, them being advocate for the LGBTQ plus community, and many different aspects about their past and where they worked the last few years.
And today, I know
It's coming. What's coming for Garde Malade, Steve?
so two new colors. We have Ocean Tide, Spiced Earth. Two amazing colors. In a couple days, just check the website.
Yeah, we don't, at the moment we're filming this, we don't know the official date, so we're just going to say in a couple days and enjoy when you'll see them coming
And
up
you can
on
use
website.
the code MOAMO for 15% off.
On all items at regular price. And you can also use the code Moamo15 on Jungle website for some good coffee, as well as Moamo15 on Case Me website for some amazing cases for your phone.
That's a lot of promo codes.
Yeah, bing, bang, bang. Go enjoy. And but before that, watch our episode.
Yeah.
Je suis ton gars malade, ton gars malade. Je suis ton gars malade, ton gars malade. Je suis ton gars.
Hi guys! So for today's episode, we're receiving two of our besties that flew right from Boston. We met you actually 1 year ago, almost, like last summer, at one of our events we did in LA. So we have with us today the Nurse Daddies. Hi guys!
Hello.
Thanks
Thank you
having
for
me.
having us here.
How are you?
Yeah, we're well. We're good. You know, we're glad we're here in Montreal.
First time. It's my
Yeah.
First time
It's-
for
oh,
you?
yeah?
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
you find Montreal?
I felt we were talking about it on our way here this morning. I mean, we haven't got to see much of it. 'Cause
Yeah.
we've been busy.
Facts.
But from what we've seen, it's been very nice.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed
The
it.
actually the afternoon yesterday was nice. It was sunny and
Yeah.
way more hotter than the morning.
Yeah, when we left the university, it was so nice.
Well, we were like napping.
Yeah.
20 minutes. I
yeah.
said, I'm just going to close my eyes for 20 minutes and then wake me up. And then 2 hours later.
Well, I don't usually nap, and so I was like, okay, I'll wake you up, and then I closed my eyes, and then 2 hours later we were.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how I power through the
But
day.
you woke up early this morning. I saw like at
yeah.
6, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
do. I wake up. I'm an early riser. I think it comes with age.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No comment.
Okay.
I don't know yet. So tell us about who are the Nurse Daddies.
So the Nurse Daddies, I mean, kind of, I don't know. Do you want me to tell you like kind of how we started?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
From
it
the
was
start.
Yeah, so it was really an accident. So I moved to Boston. I was actually a travel nurse where Glenn was working, and we were. I mean, we had like kind of chatted before, like we had like gotten kind of friendly with each other, and then one day I had already been making some content, and I just had this funny thing in mind. He asked me to go get him some food from the cafeteria, so I started recording, like going up to the cafeteria. He wrote me out a whole list, like menu of what he wanted, and so I just made this like funny video, like when the Filipino daddy sends you to go get food for him, and then I recorded his reaction when I got back to the ER, and I posted it, and then we just kind of thought not much of it, and then over the weekend it just like the video just kind of went viral, as they say, and that's kind of how the idea was born of the Nurse Daddies.
Yeah, he actually posted it on his personal TikTok account.
My TikTok, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then it's just all of a sudden, like we came back the weekend after. Yeah. I'm like, what is this? And he was like telling me, I'm like, oh.
But like who proposed like we should do something real together and start like
I don't
a
know.
duo?
I think it was collective because like, so I didn't really, unbeknownst to me, he was already taking a lot of videos of me. So prior to this, we went to New York. I took them to New York. We were doing all this, but he had already compiled videos of me like sleeping on the train.
That he wouldn't let me post.
Like this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was trying to surface. I'm like, where did you get all these videos? Like where? So he has a stash of them in his, and then every day he would post one and it was like starting to go viral and then people were commenting and then we would work together and he would like video me while I'm pushing a bed and this. That time I was still a little sick. I get a little short of breath when I'm walking long distances. I got sick like 4 years ago because I wasn't wearing, I don't know if you've met Betty Bipop. That's one of our characters in our,
It's the sleep
it's
mask.
the
saw,
it's like
yeah.
it's the BiPAP machine for sleep.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I got sick 4 years ago because I wasn't wearing that. So the part of being like not wearing that, I get very short of breath. So like he would like video me, I'm pushing a bed, like I'm like, oh my god, the daddy is like short of breath. And we were walking down the hallway. So I don't know, people find it funny, and then he would come up to me like from behind and just do crazy things.
I think when you have like one video that goes viral, it's like whatever. But then like when you have a couple that are like people are
There's
actually paying
something
attention
there,
to
yeah.
us, we're like something is here. So that's when, and then at that time, that was like the first time they were talking about like TikTok kind of going
Yeah.
away.
Right.
And so we had like, oh, we should make an Instagram account just in case. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
when the
that's
bill-
I think that's yeah.
And that's, I guess, how you came up with the name Nurse Daddy.
Nurse Daddy.
Yeah, because then
Was,
so then my
what was
person.
the thinking behind that?
I think because I had in the initial video I'd called him like the Filipino daddy.
Yeah.
Or something.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
So that's
that
why
makes
we
sense.
actually, I'm sorry, collectively we said, oh, well, just then call ourselves Nurse Daddies because we're nurses and I'm the daddy. You're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could be daddy.
Yeah, that's how like the name was kind of born. And then like we were looking it up, we're like, well, nobody else. There's not a lot of like nurse duos, and nobody else has this
Yeah.
name. Like it's very fitting for like kind of like the gay culture too. So
Yeah.
it just fit really well. Yeah.
And-
Yeah. So how do you create your content? You're always working together, or like?
At first, a lot of our content at first was a lot at work.
Yeah.
But when we were like on breaks and stuff, we would try to make it. But we've kind of transitioned away from that. But yeah, I think that's how our initial audience was built, was like
Right.
nursing at
Yeah,
work. Because
at
people
nursing
were
at
like,
work.
oh, like like you don't see a lot of pages where people can actually kind of record when they're at work.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
I know.
So I think that people were like, oh, this is like interesting. And then just like the way we talk to each other and like things that we would do, I think people just like really caught on to that.
Was it stressful though to like build something, but you don't know if like the fit's gonna be there in long term? Because you were like not best friends before doing that. You kind of like became
Right.
friends by doing this by association. So was it kind of a stress? Like maybe we're not gonna like each other in 2 months.
Well, sometimes we don't.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know. We fight. We fight your text. We fight like face to face. We don't talk. But see, the thing with us was there was no intent. This
Yeah.
wasn't intentional that we want to grow this account. What we started was something that was fun, like in a lighthearted comedy. Like he would make fun of me, and I was like like, okay, sure, do make fun of me. And then people got onto it, and they caught that. I'm like, oh, they're actually kind of like a nice, it's like a breath of fresh air from what everyone is doing, because we're different. And
You're
I know
very
if
truthful to the relationship. Like you fight, like you say, and you
Yeah.
don't hide from that.
No,
Yeah.
we tell people, people
Yeah.
comment and ask things. We're like, yes, we argue. Like we
but
don't always
we're
get
real
along.
people. Like we're not making skits. Like oh, this is
I mean, it's
And-
natural. Like when you're doing these things together, like you're gonna have like arguments. Like we travel together, we work together.
Yeah.
So of course, like things are gonna come up.
Yeah, but and then then we realized I'm like, oh, we kind of like have following now. People are asking for things. I'm like, oh, this and that, and then so I'm like, okay, then maybe there is really, So
Yeah.
then that's how it now started. Now we're thinking, I'm like, oh, we have to do more content. Now we don't work as much as we do,
Yeah.
so now we have to kind of like synchronize our schedule. We have a shared calendar on Google.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where we
yeah.
put
And
our
a real
things.
couple.
Yeah, I
we
know.
have to because we have different schedules. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't work full time in the ER anymore,
Yeah.
so we don't see each other at work that often. So we've had to like start to coordinate our schedules. And
So yeah, let's talk about that. As nurses, in what department do you work? What kind of like everyday, like job you do as nurses?
Yeah. So, I mean, we both work in the ER.
Yeah.
I'm just per diem there. I don't know if that translates the same thing here, but it's just basically I'm as needed. So I don't have like set schedule in the ER. I pick up kind of when I can, and then I have another job where I work kind of triaging, transferring patients that
Yeah.
need higher level of care into Boston, and that I do hybrid, so part time at home, part time in the office. And then I pick up, like I said, in the ER when I can, and then the social media has taken
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
our
a lot
time.
of time.
Yeah.
Okay, so the triage is at home, and it's you do that like with a computer and Teams or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
Do we have that in here in Canada? We don't do that.
I
Eh?
don't think we do, no.
I say triaging because you are triaging the patients, but it's mostly like if a patient comes into a hospital that doesn't have a lot of resources and it's like a big trauma and they need more resources, they call us and we help to transfer that patient into Boston to get them like the resources that they need.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that.
I think what it is really like mostly is just like they just facilitate the transfer.
Okay.
The people from the smaller hospitals, these are smaller hospitals outside the main city. We are a major trauma center in Boston, and we have it's a multi-specialty hospital. We like specialize in stroke, like all these other things. And so the smaller hospitals around the area would call because they don't have the resources, and it's almost like it's done, because I've received his call sometimes. So
Yeah, that's
when
the
I'm
funny. That's the funny thing is like even if we're not working together in the ER, like if he's working as like the charge nurse of the department, and like I still will call him and be like, hey, like this patient's gonna be coming your way, just so you know.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
that way they can get prepared for the
Right.
patient.
Hey,
coming.
Daddy Glenn.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing is we have to be very professional because it's like it's recorded, so it's like when we call each other, it's so weird. I'm like, hey, Glenn, it's Colton.
I know, and then his other co-workers would be like, "Is this the other nurse, Daddy?" I'm like, "This is Glenn. I'm in charge today. Yes, I know you're sending a trauma from somewhere. Yes, we already know. We're expecting the patients. What's the ETA?" And they're like,
Yeah.
So
Oh,
those
that's
are things, yeah. But I'm still working in the emergency room. I'm 36 hours in the emergency room, and again, yesterday, as I've told you, I try to maximize my earning potential. Like when it's for me, I put my days together 3 days in a row, and if there's a chance for me to work extra, I do. And then the rest of the 4 days, I would call him. I'm like, these are the 4 days that I'm free. Anytime we could fit. Like sometimes, like I would go to his apartment and we would do content just before he starts working, because we have to try.
Yeah, so how much would you say, like, approximately per week do you create, how many hours is for content creation as of right now?
It varies. It really depends because we try to obviously like if we're traveling, we
Yeah.
really try to maximize on that.
Yeah, for sure.
If we're home and we're working, I feel like it really varies. Like if we don't have enough content to post, like we have to get together. But our content's quick. Like we don't spend a lot of time making the content.
Yeah.
The hard part is just getting together.
Yeah,
together.
because
yeah.
we don't really think of the things that we're gonna do. It's all of the things that we do is spontaneous.
Yeah.
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 And I
it's like-
told you yesterday, but I think that you're one, well, from all the accounts that we follow in our ambassador and stuff like that, you're one of the account that I find does the most Instagram live. That's
Yeah,
one of your
we do.
things. Like
Yeah.
you do a lot of that,
Yeah,
right?
he loves that's honestly that's Glenn. He loves it, and it's because like sometimes I give him pushback, but like it does help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does. Like I would come. Can we do live? Because like he could go live as well.
Yeah.
On Instagram. She's like, we've done enough live. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go on live. Because honestly, like I live alone. I don't have anyone to interact with.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
this audience are there and they interact with me. Like sometimes they ask me to sing a song, and I'm like, okay, sure.
I'll do it.
Yeah, why not?
It's
Like
not
if
that I don't like it. It's just
honestly, if this is what makes you feel better, we get a lot of messages. Like these people telling us, "Oh, you made us feel better. We were doing this and this,
Those
and
are
we
the
watched."
best, yeah.
Yeah, and if you can make them like feel, find solace in whatever they're having.
And it like probably makes you feel better too.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think that's like the thing is like like if I feel burnt out from the content,
Yeah.
or like I get to a point where I'm like,
You're
oh my
tuned,
gosh,
so we can
Yeah.
yeah,
take
yeah.
over.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
yeah.
actually there's some people were saying that there's like posting fatigue. I don't know this new algorithm feels like they get tired, but I feel like the interaction is different every day because you have different guests that comes on and then you talk about things. Typical questions that we always have to answer is like, are we a couple? This and
Yeah.
that. I'm like, we already had that.
Well, we get a lot of like new grad nurses that
Yes.
like want advice, like how do we get through school? And it's always funny because I don't always have like a great answer for them. It's like
Yeah.
you just have to just show up every day and just like
Yeah.
try your best. Like I don't know what else to really
Try to
say.
survive.
Yeah.
Just try to
I know.
survive. And I think
Yeah.
like if like when I get those feelings of feeling like burnt out, if I remember why we're doing it, it's like to help people and like spread
Yeah.
joy and light. Like it makes it a little bit easier to like show up each day and
I'm
do it.
curious, like if Colton was to describe Glenn and vice versa, like how would you describe the other
Oh my God, this is don't do. Okay, sure.
You want me to describe
Yeah,
Glenn?
sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we've never asked this question.
Wait, this might
Why
be-
do you have
this
to go
might be
on the podcast to me ask this question?
This might be dangerous. Just kidding.
We're still traveling together on a plane, so it's okay. We already have our tickets booked, and we can stop talking when we get to Boston.
Yeah.
No.
No.
It's gonna end there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, to describe Glenn, I think from what I've noticed just with with his relationship with just like all his other friends and family is he'll always show up for the people in his life that he really cares about, which I find important in like a friend. And he's always there. And he's always high energy in a good mood. I mean, I guess not always in a good mood, but always ready to have fun and just like adventure. Like he finds joy, like true joy, and like seeing other parts of the world. And like again, I love that in a friend because it's nice to have somebody to like go travel with who also enjoys those things. And I think that's where we've like found a common ground, is we both love that. So yeah, that's how I would describe Glenn.
And you?
That's my turn.
Say nice things about me,
turn.
okay?
Yeah. I don't know. I just find him very interesting. He's very adaptive to the things, like even though he's young, a lot of his younger kids, they always think that they know a lot of things. But when I tell them, I'm like, I've had experience. I've lived through life. I've been through a lot. I've hassled through life. So, and he's very receptive to that, like, but we always like, he has very strong opinions about things as well as do I. So, but he's very receptive, and he tries to just be accommodating to all the things that, sometimes he's like, okay, sure, then let's do that. And what else? And he's willing to try new things. He's very adventurous as well. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's where we've like found that
Yeah.
friendship is like we're both just like we're just
I've-
curious.
Yeah, I've
You're down
introduced.
for anything.
Yeah, he's down for anything. Yes, that's true. Like even with food, like I had him try all the Filipino food, and he loves them. So I don't know why he loves Filipino.
What's Filipino food?
It's Filipino food really is. I can't tell you to describe it. It's really just an amalgamation of all the cultures that came to the country.
Okay.
So we had the Malays came, the Indonesians, the Indians, and then the Chinese came, the Spaniards. So all
it's a
that.
mix
Oh
of-
yeah. So all that is There's a little bit of like, oh, this is a little dish reminiscent of what Spain would do, but then we put soy in it. So
Okay.
then it's like Chinese or like Indonesians or Malays. So it's just really.
Is it spicy or?
No, it's not.
Oh, no.
It's not.
You
Have
don't-
you
We-
have you had the Filipino food? We just went to a restaurant in Montreal the
Yeah.
first night we were here.
The first night we were here.
was it
we were-
called?
Kalye.
Kalye.
Okay, no,
Kalye. I did. In fact, I was looking at their at their Instagram page. John was there too.
John? Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So John, I think, friend knows the owners. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You
okay,
guys should try it. It was
It's
really
very
good.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he loves it. Like I've never had him. Well, maybe there was one that you didn't like. What is it that you didn't like?
I don't remember like the Filipino food that I didn't like, but we went to Chinatown in Boston. He made me try chicken feet. No,
Okay,
I'm like,
that-
this is
Chicken
just-
feet. Oh, yeah?
Feet?
Was it good? Or?
No, that was not good.
No, he didn't realize that there's a lot of collagen there. That's why your skin looks
Oh.
good from eating.
Oh, that's why you. Oh, yeah.
You
Oh,
need
my God.
collagen.
Because of chicken feet.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
noted.
I don't know. I don't know what the idea of it was. Like, I don't like this. Like, I don't like this.
Okay, but speaking experience, like you traveled a lot when you were younger. You started your career, I think, was in
The Middle East, yeah.
middle. So how was it like?
I've always had the sense of wanderlust in me, because even growing up, like my cousins who took care of us because they were like, we were growing up.
Okay.
Like I would always like, we've had this like posters or like frames that would hang on the walls, and I would like, if she vividly told me that, there was one picture that she's like, when I was a kid, that I told her that I'm gonna go to that place, and then one time I got there, like this was in Japan. This was like a shrine. I could really, it's visible in my head. Like there's this, like how this little like orange. What do you call them? Like when they're like, it's a shrine. It's a shrine. And I said like, one day I'll get there, and I did.
See, that's always always like the curiosity, just like the wonder, the
Yeah,
curiosity.
I've always like, and then I come from the southern part of the Philippines. I went to school. We're up in the mountains, and all I had was books and all these pictures, and that made me like really gave me that sense of wonder, like, oh my God. And then that's why when I went to the Middle East, I vowed, that on my vacations, because I worked in a contract where we worked 10 months and a half, and then 45 days we get paid annual vacation. That vacation I went to Europe.
Okay.
I got on the bus tour coach. I would like fly into London and go around, sometimes 7 countries around, and go back. And then I would like leave the crew or the tour in Paris and then go back to the Middle East and then go back to work again. And there
Was it like a travel nurse?
yeah,
kind of
no, it was just my vacation. I would just be in a bus. Like they call it a pajama tour, because you go to one place, like say from London, we take the ferry, then we go to Calais, from Dover to Calais, and then we drive to Liechtenstein, and then we stay there for one night. Our tour guide would be like, okay, tomorrow wake up call at 6:00, bag of sausage at 6:50, 7 breakfast, 7:30, everyone on the bus. That's what I did. So that's how I traveled.
You see a lot
Yeah.
by doing this, yeah.
Yeah, and I've always wanted, even now, because even now that I have some, I can't walk as fast as I can because my knees hurt. I still do. I still travel. Yeah.
That's the fun part I think about your job is that, and the fact that you create content now is you can like take days off and travel more. Like a lot of nurses
Yeah.
are big travelers people
Just
because
because
it's
of the schedule. I mean,
Yeah.
you can really like manipulate your schedule however you want for the most part, depending on like
Yeah.
what nursing job you have. And then yeah, if you have the means to just go travel, I mean that's why a lot of nurses do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have kids or anything like that, so it's much easier for us to
Yeah.
be able to
Yeah.
just pick up and go.
What I normally do is I work the first 3 days of the week, and then the 4 days I'm off, and then for the next week I would like have the first 4 days off again, and then work the 3 days. So
Yeah.
in that span of time, you have already 8 days that's off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. But is it like that all across the USA? Like you can do your own schedule? I guess not. But is the majority of the hospitals in the US are like that? Like that you can choose?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on where you're working. It depends on, I think like maybe some places like your seniority in the company. But I think for the most part, from my experience, anyways, like I've been able to kind of self-schedule, and then like with that, I mean, usually there's requirements. So like you have to work so many weekends.
Yeah.
Depending on what shift you're working, like where we work, a lot of the nurses have to rotate days to nights. So you're doing kind of both shifts. But for the most part, you can kind of
That's
do that.
that's
with your
nice because
schedule.
here I think the biggest problem is that they don't get to choose their schedule. So
Yeah.
like for moms or it's really tough because they
Yeah.
work like days, night, whatever. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, it's
something they
difficult.
need to work on.
except the schedule that you can kind of like change and everything for like travel and stuff like that. What do you like the most about being a nurse?
Oh, that's a great question. What do you like?
Yeah.
Well,
To be able to help people, really, that's what it is. But you have to have your heart in it, because if you don't, then you're not gonna be the best nurse that you can be for your patients. I've always wanted to be in the medical field. I've always wanted to take care of people. That's how I've always been ever since I was a little kid. I've always wanted to become a doctor. That didn't materialize, but I'm still taking care of people. And it really gives me a little sense of fulfillment and joy when people, especially when people come up to you and thank you very much for taking care of
Yeah.
my family, my dad, whoever. And it's just that, like at the end of the day, like you've made them feel better about themselves. So
You mentioned yesterday that Filipino, there's a lot of them in the health
US?
in the US as nurses. So you guys, that's in your blood, like to help and give back.
I think that's embedded in our culture, in our DNA. I think we're always, trying to help people. I'm not sure where that come from, but I think it's just that, like, collectively, we're just like
Helping each
helping
other.
people, helping each other, helping other people.
That's nice.
So you'll find that in the Filipino culture. I mean, anywhere you work with them, they're and it's like known, like nurses that
Oh,
work
yeah.
with Filipinos are like, they're just good caregivers. And you always, it's always comforting to have somebody that's just like knowledgeable, compassionate to work with. Like it's very common in the Filipino culture.
And you, what do you like the most about being a nurse?
I mean, I think most of us get into it to help people. I think that's like a pretty common answer. But I think, I mean, personally, it's just like honestly like the lifestyle, and like you get the knowledge, the skills, and just like knowing those things. And then being able to just have like the lifestyle that we have as far as like the flexibility, and like you can change your career path anytime you want. Even within nursing, like there's so many different directions you can go, and I like that because I don't know if I want to say like bored, but I get like antsy, like I need to like try something else. Like, so that's what I like about it.
Do you think that social media will take all the place one day, or you're still gonna be a nurse forever?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I mean, I don't know. I feel like always kind of have to like have my toes in the water with
Yeah.
nursing.
Okay.
I would like to be able to more do the social media and stuff more full time. But if with our content being based around nursing too, I think it's good to keep that keep
Exactly.
yourself in the
Yeah.
know, because if you get too far removed from it, you almost like lose sight of
Yeah.
what's actually happening at the bedside. And it's like, how do you have perspective when people are asking you things if you're not actually there in the hospital setting or at the bedside or anywhere in the nursing field? Yeah.
Okay, so your social media, it's been really fast. Like you started a couple months ago, or maybe a year.
Yeah,
So, at what point it's a business now? Do you start getting like contracts, or how does it work now?
Yeah, it took a little bit for us to
Yeah.
start getting. I mean, honestly, the Garden Malade was one of the first brands we really worked with.
Yeah.
And then
The others, actually, they were just reaching out to us.
Okay.
That I'm not sure if you've seen how we were like I was spraying the girls when I come to work at at 4 o'clock in the morning. That spray from Korea Skincare.
Yeah.
They're the ones who found us. In
Yeah.
fact, he was like when they sent us an email, he didn't even answer right away because he thought that it was like spam. I'm like, oh,
because you get a lot of spam. We
yeah, we get a lot, yeah. And then I think did they email again, right? They emailed
I
again.
don't know. I don't remember if they followed up or not.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they were like, yeah, sure. And then they sent us like 100 boxes of all the product.
Yeah. They sent us a lot of product, and like,
Yeah.
we were like just giving it away. Like, and that's the thing is like we haven't really pushed ourselves out there to a lot of brands.
Yeah.
And we tag brands that we like to use, but for the most part, it's been brands that have kind of just like reached out to us, and we're like, okay, like
Okay.
sure,
So
like,
now you see that it's starting to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
real.
yeah.
We just had one kind of like brand partnership with money transfer service to the Philippines. So that's
Okay.
kind of like the ones that were
Yeah. Kinda working
and
with,
they
yeah.
put us on the retainer. So
I think at first it like made me I was uncomfortable asking like feeling like we were monetizing anything
Yeah.
with the content, but then like, I had to have the mindset of like if we can make more money doing the content, then we can spend more time doing it because
Yeah,
we don't have to work
that's
as much.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
just need to choose the right brands. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it needs to fit because
that's what
you
we've
wanna
talked
look
about.
like how do you say that, a panel?
An advertisement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when it's too much, like if you it's okay to make money, I guess, but if you push a milk company or
Yeah,
it's like,
right, yeah.
So funny,
maybe
yeah. It's funny you say that because we've talked about this to where like we did kind of start saying yes to too many things, and I was like, this feels inauthentic, and not gonna like drop the name of the brands, but like we like worked with like a food order like service meal,
Yeah, meal service.
and once we made the content, I was like, this doesn't feel authentic.
Yeah.
Like nothing against the brand at all. I was like, this is not. I would never use this. Like, why are we pushing this out there? So
Yeah.
that was a learning.
yeah. So it's a
process.
balance. Like you want to
Yeah.
make money for sure because you deserve it, but
Yeah, but not inauthentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to find that balance because like sometimes you think that we're newer in the market where you want to strike while the iron is hot because who knows how long this will last. Like, but then what do you do if like you turn them down and they're like, oh, they're probably not, or these people are trying to contact you and they're like, they're not just being contacted. There's others who are. So I don't, it's hard.
You don't
It's
want
hard.
to miss
Right, an opportunity,
but at the
exactly.
same time,
You don't want to oversaturate your
Exactly.
Yeah,
your
it's a balance.
brand.
And
Yeah.
it's a learning process. Like, and that's the thing. I think it's just being like patient with ourselves and be like, it's okay to like if we make a mistake and just like course correct, and it's constantly gonna learn things.
We all make mistakes.
Right.
So.
Do
Right.
you have like an ultimate goal you'd like to reach with the Nurse Daddies?
I mean, I feel like there's been quite a few things that we've kind of talked about. I don't think that we have like a
set one.
end
Yeah.
goal. I think it's just kind of like as we progress, kind of figuring out what we want. But we definitely have like ideas and like the direction that we at least want to go to, which I think is helpful.
So now you push Instagram and TikTok and
Facebook, yeah, we
Oh,
started-
Facebook too?
we-
Oh, yeah?
TikTok, you're not.
We're on TikTok, yeah.
You have TikTok.
TikTok.
You're bigger on Instagram, right?
Now, but then when we started, we actually we went viral on TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok was where
Yeah.
we started. Yeah,
But now your Instagram account is going
It's
faster.
more.
yeah,
Like-
it grew faster. Our
Yeah.
Instagram,
Correct,
grew.
okay.
and then we've just recently started on Facebook too, which has started to kind of catch on. now.
Right.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
Facebook,
we're
yeah.
starting Facebook. We had started a YouTube channel, but I was like, I can't do all of this at once. So we're growing
It's
Facebook.
crazy,
We're
yeah.
gonna eventually we'll get over to YouTube as well and kind of grow that too. But to grow it all at once is just a lot. And we don't have a manager. We don't have anyone helping us.
Okay.
So like
He's doing all the technical work.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's why sometimes I have to be patient with him because I keep calling him like, "Did you post?" And she's like, "Stop calling me, stop bossing me around."
Stop asking me if I'm doing it. I will do it.
Yeah, I'm like, it's time to post, you know.
yeah.
And then one time, like he posted like 3 videos. I'm like, did you do that to spite me?
But how are you with the technology? Like, are you good using TikTok?
Average. You know, I can use. I can.
'Cause it's
do it.
tough,
Not
honestly.
bad.
No,
Yeah.
the editing I leave to him because it's just too much. Like I have editing tools in my phone, and I tried to edit myself.
Yeah, but no, because I'll do the videos, but anything photos, like he edits all of our pictures.
Okay.
because
Oh,
he's-
yeah? Okay.
He's good with. He has a good eye for that. He knows exactly
Yeah.
how
Okay.
he wants it to look.
Yeah,
The videos.
Video, it's
He does the
another
videos,
thing.
and I do the photos because, like, you know, especially with just even composition. I'm like, let's take a photo from here. Like, he's like, why? But like, just wait, let's just take a photo from here and this, and then it would come out. I'm like, oh,
And that's been something that I've had to learn is like to like let go of some of that control too, like
Yeah.
really trust that, like oh, like oh,
Especially
he does
if
have,
it's like one of his traits.
yeah,
You
Yeah, so
balance
you work
yourself.
Yeah,
good
yeah.
together. So he's better in photo and you do video.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
and I
that's
think
a
it's just
good-
like us, yeah, like kind of bouncing that off of each other and allowing the other person to like take more control over certain things has been something that again we've just had to learn, like, but yeah, I feel like we've
Yeah.
done a pretty good job.
I didn't even expect this to flourish as this
Yeah.
because the first time we were how we actually kind of like became friends was he was very nice to me. I was like wondering why is this new person nice to me? We were working together. We were in the trauma bay. I was busy with my patients. I see a sick patient. And this was like 7:40, 7:45. And he offered to take my patient upstairs when I was still wrapping up things. He's like, I can take your patient upstairs. I'm like, what? And he's like,
There's a
you.
twist. Why are you
Yeah.
What do you want
So
from
maybe like
something?
he has some vested interest in me. I don't know. But that's how it all started. I'm like, oh, he's nice. And then we started talking and then here
Well,
we
he
are.
says, he says when I got to the job that he couldn't tell, like you couldn't tell if I was gay or not.
Yeah.
And like he was like trying to feel that out. You know, like what is? Like,
Well, because they told me, say like, oh, there's a new traveler. I'm like, and he's cute, and I'm like, I'm not, like they think.
Let me
Of course,
see for
because like,
myself.
yeah. So then
First of
I've
all-
kind of skedaddled to where he was working, and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, he's like a nice ass. I'm like, okay. And then I saw his finger. I'm like, oh,
I had a ring on it.
yeah.
yeah.
Right. So
Talking about traveling for work or for projects, we filmed a video yesterday with Ryan too, who's here right now. What was it about, and why is it important for you to embrace those kind of visibility projects and those kind of partnership?
Yeah. Are you talking like specifically about like
Yeah,
pride?
Like with-
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know. For me, because I did not come out as gay until I was 24, and so for me, it is really important just to even like be here to be able to like represent the community in that way. I feel like is something that I never ever could have seen myself doing as a kid. And so I think it's really important just for people to see that, for kids, for adults
Yeah.
who may be like hiding themselves or not sure of themselves, like just for even one person just to see us being our authentic selves, to make them feel like, oh, like maybe at some point in my life I can do that as well.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really important.
And as a brand, like, what do you think we should do to help your community being more seen and more, like, being more open as individuals who are not part of that community? What kind of, like, conseil, do you know what?
What?
Tips?
tips.
Kind of tips, yeah, you could give us so that we're open and that we understand more your reality.
What you did yesterday was really very big and essential because you're partnering with people who obviously is in the community, and then that will give you visibility and recognition because you recognize the fact that we're that's inclusivity. Like you include everyone. You're not just like this for a specific population, and that's very good that you're out there and you're trying to promote us as well.
Diversity, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's important, like, what you guys I think do well is it's not like you just found us for the month and we're like, hey, we need you guys to come do this with us for the
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
Like you guys, you're inclusive all year, which
Yeah.
I think is important for a brand, because you'll see certain brands who are like, okay, it's Pride Month, let's capitalize on this, let's just bring people in just
Oh,
for this
that's it.
moment,
Yeah.
and then cut them off. But you
Yeah.
guys really like make us feel like family, like you really care about us, like all the time. which
All
I think is
year, yeah.
important. Yeah.
This is why I like about you guys because like you're a small brand, but you're very hands-on, and like you, Steve, like you're with us all the time, like interacting with us. So and Marie and everyone, like I feel like we know everyone. Unlike with like if there was a big corporation,
Yeah.
and then you're very there, you're very present,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
aware of
That's
what's going on.
something we want to keep
Yeah,
at one. I guess when it's getting bigger and bigger, it's tough to be everywhere all the time, but
Yeah, of
that's
course.
something we really need to,
Yeah.
and we want to keep, yeah. And that's the part of the job that we like spending time with you guys and other people.
Yeah.
Even like nurses, and that's why we do all the events and stuff. We want to get closer to the people.
Who at the
Yeah.
end of the day are gonna buy
Yeah.
our products.
right.
Well, I think it just makes you feel like for us as like the creators, like it makes us just feel like we're not just like a number,
Yeah.
I think that's the same like in a nursing job, like if your manager is like so absent, you never see them, and then you get an email from them, like there's not gonna be like that respect. If they're there on the floor, they see you, they know you, like you're gonna feel better, and you're gonna want to perform better for them.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very well said. Yeah.
And does sometime being part of the LGBTQA plus, am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Am I missing
I'm not
LGBT
sure.
plus A
plus,
The plus is good. It
plus
like
is
covers.
good. Yeah.
A
The
plus
everything
community.
LGBT plus.
Okay, let me
Whatever.
try that again. And does being part of the LGBTQA plus community sometimes have like is there challenges related to that at work that you were like present or that you felt, or are you comfortable talking about that?
Oh, I'm very open.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm like visibly probably the picture child of your middle-aged aging Filipino gay nurse. Yeah, so I walk around with my collars. Everybody just
But again, I think this is like dependent on where you work, especially in America. Like
Yeah.
where we live in Boston is just there's not you don't worry about it.
yeah. I think
Okay.
Boston is very open. Yeah,
where I come from, I'm from Arizona. Like it's not as accept. I mean, it's depending on where you live.
Yeah.
Like it's getting better, but it's when I moved to Boston, I was like, wow, like nobody cares here. Like I'm not
Okay.
I'm not an anomaly walking into work being like,
Right.
I'm gay.
I think in Massachusetts was the first state to legalize same-sex marriage. I think.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
very.
it's
Yeah, they're
more
very.
open than
They're very
States.
open. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like it. I love being there. Like it was a good choice for me because I used to live in Chicago, and Chicago is very open as well. Yeah, but I never have a problem. I've always been expressive of
Yeah.
what I am and what I have to offer, and what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've had with patients I've had like
Yeah.
really derogatory terms if they're upset at me, like said to me. But as far as like with staff and organizations, I haven't had any
Yeah.
issues. Yeah. It's just more from
That's good.
patients that like,
Patients, yeah.
Yeah.
have nothing else to say, so like they're gonna just
Yeah.
say whatever they want to
Yeah.
dig at you, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I think that like in any group that you are, like is it like your community or the color of your skin, people are always gonna
Yes.
do like bad
course.
comments like that, and you
course.
just
Right.
you have to like kind of.
It's a them problem. It's a
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
That's what I tell myself. That's on
But
them.
if you have like a good building, like community, like you said, managers or coworkers that help you go through that, I think that's the most important part.
Yeah, where we work is very, very, very inclusive, and they
Yeah.
like you'll see doctors that even aren't like part of the community wearing
Like wearing the
pride-
pin.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
just to like play like just
Yeah,
I'm
that
safe,
way,
you
yeah,
know,
that
like,
they're there for you.
Yeah.
And if you're confident about what you do, I mean, no matter what
Yeah.
what they tell you, what color your skin is, you're there to help them. So,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think confidence is the key in any of these kind of situations.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
very true.
I'm learning that for sure. It's not always easy though.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Do
I
you-
guess you need to take a breath and
Yeah,
yeah.
relax.
Step back
Yeah.
a little bit and just like, yeah.
do you feel a shift though, like the fact that you're a lot on social media? Did you see some of those situations via your phone and comments, and like, is
Oh.
it hard for you? Do you have to kind of like get a step back, take a step back, and just like
I think it depends on what they're saying. Like I think what I've been surprised at are like what like the things that will like trigger me that I'm like, oh, I didn't expect
Yeah,
that. To
I
make
didn't
me
know,
feel some
yeah.
type of
What
way.
triggers you?
But just I don't like. I
I'm
mean,
sorry, I'm asking you.
I
Remember
wanna
it.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, it just I don't know. Like if people say just like specific things at you that maybe like you know like. I don't like when people get like too into my personal life.
Oh, okay.
Like when I like, you know, if I've been going through something like I've been going through a like I don't want to say public breakup, but like they've been just asked so much questions and like constantly like will like say comments like why are you saying that to me?
Yeah.
Like, it's like I'm a human, I have a personal life too. I don't like those things. And then like they would like when we first started like there was a lot of body shaming that
Yeah.
people would do, but we shut that down. Like we're like we don't tolerate that here. Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna have these mean comments, like go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you need
Yeah,
to
the body shaming
stand
was
back,
just-
'cause that's
Just
yeah.
too much. Yeah.
There's
People.
so many people online that
and they,
just
yeah.
Yeah,
throw
they're behind
shit
their
everywhere.
phone and like they'll say
Right.
anything. Yeah.
And they hide behind the cover of anonymity
Yeah.
because,
So you
know
need
what?
to
Yeah.
you say this person's life must be so
Yeah.
miserable.
They're
so-
gonna do that.
Yeah, I never understood like what's going through your mind that you take the time to comment like ugly
Right.
and mean stuff to
Yeah.
someone. I don't understand.
And you create a profile that
Yeah.
you're hiding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's your point? And then
Yeah.
did it give you did it bring you joy?
yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
like
That's
Do you
it.
feel better after
Yeah.
that? Because I don't feel better, so
Right.
why did you do
yeah.
And you're taking the time to write this. Like, what is your like? What's your motive?
Yeah.
You know? I think where I've seen the worst, honestly, has been Facebook.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
things,
yeah.
the things people say on Facebook. I'm
I
like,
would have thought it was Instagram.
Oh yeah, you see is there a difference? Like, well, there is a difference, but Facebook, Instagram,
Yes.
TikTok, it's different.
Where do you see it on us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Facebook has been. I feel like when we first started, we don't see it as much on our TikTok and Instagram anymore. When we first started, there was a lot of mean comments.
Yeah.
But now that we're like starting on Facebook, I'm seeing it surface again, and I'm like, why
Yeah.
are you saying stuff like?
But is it older people on Facebook?
I think-
so. They're more frustrated or
Yes,
something.
maybe like
I feel like TikTok's the less mean platform right
Yeah,
now.
I think so.
Because people are, I guess, younger.
You just go like, and then it's
yeah,
like-
and they don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think
Well, if you haven't read, have you read them?
it's not like it's every comment.
Yeah,
I
okay.
read them or like, and I don't usually respond to them, but sometimes I get like my
Yeah.
response back.
I haven't paid attention to it.
Yeah, you
so-
need to be careful because if you're starting to respond, then it's over. You're
Then,
gonna,
yeah.
it's endless.
Yeah.
People, they have
But
a lot of time.
sometimes-
So
If you respond, if people start arguing on your post,
It
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
viral.
or like-
Yeah, so I'm
I
like,
mean,
okay,
if you take
yeah.
the time to
Yeah.
try to convince someone, you're gonna lose the battle for sure. But yeah, for the algorithm,
No,
it's good.
no, we don't answer them back, but the people who likes us,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
they,
they're gonna
they
take-
fight. They
Yeah,
fight
that's
amongst
good. Yeah,
themselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Like
Yeah.
people, they're gonna.
and it helps. Yeah, it helps the video. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, if you want to say mean things, fine. You're
Yeah.
helping us get more views.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Share
that's
it,
what you
please.
need. That's true.
share it with everyone that you love that hates us. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the video we had, not video, but posts we had the most like engagement was when people didn't like the color or we launched a pattern. The
Oh yeah, the all over print,
yeah,
and
It was-
people were
yeah.
like, "Oh my god!"
and it was
so-
one of our most commented
Yeah.
posts because people were like, I don't like it, I don't like
And
it.
that's because if people are more apt, it's like when somebody goes to a restaurant or a hotel and they have a bad experience, they're more likely to
Yeah.
give you negative feedback
Yeah.
than to like be like, oh, I really loved this
Yeah.
place. And it's just I think how humans
It's
are wired.
always, yeah.
Well, people who like it, I mean, from my perspective, people who like it won't always bother to take the time to say they like it.
Right, yeah.
Dumb people who don't like it
They will
will
say-
Yeah,
take the
but
time to write.
one bad comment is like, "Oh my god, it hurts
Yeah.
more than."
Yeah.
But
Well, and I
then
feel like
it's-
when you're in like when you're trying to sell something and people are saying all these bad like if they're saying bad things like that would be like
Yeah.
I feel like I would not like that.
Yeah.
Versus if it's something just negative about us, we're like whatever. Say,
Yeah,
say
exactly.
What you want, you know.
Yeah.
How did you guys? I've wondered where did the teddy bear come from? Like was it just an idea you guys had?
Well, when we started the brand, it's I don't know. I just
It's
say
just-
"Oh, it would
Invent
be
something."
cute to. I drew the first version of it.
Okay.
It was really sketchy, like, and then we remade it. But yeah,
Okay.
it was just I wanted to do it with a broken leg, so
Was
taking
there a
care.
reason why you chose a mint color for the little X? Because it's like the
Mary
famous.
probably said that the mint would be nice.
I've just always wondered like
Yeah,
I like the teddy bear and I'm like oh it's cute and
Yeah.
different, yeah
That's
A lot
it.
of people recognize it with the brand now, so I think it was a really good choice.
yeah.
But yeah, no
It
particular
was the
reason.
universe who
Yeah.
said, "Steve, just
Yeah.
draw a teddy
Yeah.
and that's it." Yeah,
I love it.
but it's nice. Yeah, and now the mascot.
Yeah.
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 Who's? Did you wear that?
No, it's
Most of the time it's a set.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
most of
you
the
are.
time she's in it. Yeah,
You are
Yeah,
the one.
she's
Yeah, I
the
saw
pro
that.
of
That was
it.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
cute.
it's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, Ocean, you do a lot of things, huh?
Yeah, multitasking queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're at the Moamo segment. We're gonna ask you two questions. Well, one question each, and we'll see how your heart reacts, and then you'll have to answer the question.
Okay.
So Steve, go ahead.
So, if you have any advice to give to a healthcare worker who wants to start in social media, what would be your advice?
For me,
Your
yeah. Just be yourself, be authentic, be the best version of whatever you are, and have the patience to just face whatever comes your way. Because, you'll be bombarded with a lot of things, good or bad, positive or negative, and just be patient and be present and just be your authentic self.
I guess it's more positive than negative if you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many right now, though. Do you think there's like not a recipe, but like a way to differentiate yourself and
From the others.
yeah,
I think what I said that we have is spontaneity. we don't think a lot of the things that we do. And it's just literally just us interacting, the constant banter and exchange of witticisms. That's what we do, and I think that's what people like in us. So that's how we kind of like set ourselves apart from the rest. And yeah, we're just being true to ourselves, because sometimes it show that we don't like each other. Yeah, and
Which is like reality.
yeah.
You don't always like the
I-
person you're in
yeah,
a
right.
work relationship, like
Yeah.
a lover relationship,
Right,
friendship relationship, like
Yeah.
all relationships, there's always
Right.
ups and downs, and
Right.
to say the contrary would be lying.
Yeah.
So
It's just
Yeah.
like how do you get through those times?
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I think it just I know this is his question, but if you just I feel like if you just know how to differentiate yourself from other people and not try to copy everyone, and I feel like the more authentic and real you are, the more the audience. Will
Yeah,
respond
that's
to
what
that.
makes
Yeah.
you. I think
Yeah.
because you show people who you really are. That what
Yeah.
makes you so popular. I think.
yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
All right.
Makes sense.
Colton
Yeah.
Stern, if you weren't a nurse, what other career do you think you'd be in?
I've been asked this a lot actually, and my answer is I don't know, because when I really fell into nursing. Like it wasn't like this dream of mine as a kid. When I initially was trying to pick my career path, I was going to go into accounting. I'm very grateful I did not do that.
All right.
because it's
Really
very-
not the same?
Very different. My answer is I don't know. I would love now, like social media, podcasting, writing books. Like that's like more like what I want to do. Something where I can like just create things, which is kind of what I'm starting to do. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're kind of going into your dream,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Job.
it's slowly getting.
It's getting there. Yeah.
a little bit of like everything
Yeah.
that you like.
Yeah. I just enjoy like the creative process and doing all of this. So that's what I would love to do.
All right.
But that's cool because you do all those different things, so you don't get
Tired of anything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for this episode. It was so much fun to talk about your life, how you met, how you created the Daddies, and what are your goals in the future. So I hope you liked Montreal. And if anyone wants to follow you on socials, what do they have to tap? Where to find you?
Yeah, we're at Nurse Daddies on anything. So like I said, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are like our main accounts right now. It's at Nurse Daddies. So that's where you
At Nurse Daddies, NURSEDADDIES.
Period.
And we are on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and soon possibly YouTube.
Well, you can find us on YouTube. You're
Yeah.
not going to find a
There's
lot.
nothing-
There's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
much,
yeah,
but it's
not
coming.
a lot.
But
It's short.
Alright.
It's
You
short.
can subscribe for future content.
Yeah.
It's there.
Perfect.
Through singing and dancing.
Yeah, dancing.
Yeah, you'll never
and
know what you'll
skincare. Skincare. I love to do my skincare. Yeah.
Get ready with Glenn.
Yeah. He doesn't like that.
Well, thank you guys, and
Thank
we'll see
you.
you in 2 weeks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you very
you.
much for having us here.
Yes.
Thank you. It's
We appreciate
really-
you guys so
yeah.
much.
Thank you
Thanks.
from the bottom of our heart.
pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.